Welcome to another episode of TRILL TV. I'm your host, Coach Bailey.
This is TRILL TV. 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 Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of TRILL TV. I'm your host, Coach Bailey. And today we'll be diving into a powerful topic, sports and faith. I have a special guest, Kyla Smith.
Hello everyone, this is my first podcast episode and I'm super excited to do it with Coach Bailey, and I'm just excited to just talk and chat and have a good conversation.
Yes, I totally agree. So we've been talking about doing this podcast for like the
years.
last, 3 years maybe?
Yes, 3
Yes,
years.
so now it's finally here. I'm super excited. I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. I love the growth that I have seen and experienced, throughout our relationship these past, 7, 8 years?
It forever.
Yes, so it means a lot. So
I can't imagine. Could you
yes.
have pictured me being on a podcast episode with you the first day we met?
No, because
when I was laughing too much.
That's what I was about to say. Like, nah, because the first day I met you, that's all you was doing was laughing and cracking jokes.
Through a
like,
workout,
man.
mind you. Through a workout.
Yes, it was. We was on the track. It was hot. They was working out. But that's all she was doing was cracking jokes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cracking jokes. But that's who you are. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people gravitate to that, and a lot of people, enjoy that about you. So why don't you tell the people about yourself a little bit?
Okay, my name is Kyla Smith, like Coach Bailey said. I recently just graduated with my bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in human development and family sciences from Bowling Green State University. Coach Bailey also went there as well. I currently work as a day camp director where I get to just pour into and mentor young kids, and it's something that I love to do. My long-term goals are to be a Christian mental health counselor where I just work with kids and people who have just been traumatized and help them realize that only the Lord can truly heal their pain.
That's good. No, that's good. That's good. So tell, of course, I know a little bit about your athletic journey, but
Yes.
tell us a little bit about, the athletic journey.
Let's see, where do we start? I mean, from being like 3 years old, watching Dora. This is my parents' story. Watching Dora at home, one day they said that I was like, I want to play soccer. So they just Googled or looked up places for me to play, put me in a league at 4. And my first game, I think I scored like 7 or 9 goals, and
Okay.
I'm 4, right? And so they were like, okay, she might have a little something, you know what I mean? So that's when they kind of realized like she might be pretty talented. My dad's super athletic. My mom is too, but we get it from our dad too. Me and my brother and I. So grew up playing soccer. That was my first sport for real. I didn't really want to play basketball, so I give credit to my mom because she says we don't give her the credit, but I'm giving her the credit. She signed me up for a little church league here in Gahanna called Shep Naz when I was in 4th grade. And for me, it was more so of like, I'll play basketball like just to have something to do when it's not soccer season, because all I cared about was soccer. And then slowly over time, basketball just kind of like took that place where soccer was. And then after my freshman year of high school, I stopped playing soccer and I was like, I just want to pursue basketball full time, because I was told too, like, it's hard to do both, especially if you want to play at the next level. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my all into it. And like I said, that love for soccer just wasn't as strong as it used to be, like it was for basketball. So that's where we transitioned. Played all through high school, and I thought I was going to play in college, but then my senior year, a lot was going on senior year. It was COVID. I just lost one of my friends. He had passed away in a car accident. And I realized like, I don't want to keep doing this. And we had a super special team, and I realized that I wasn't going to get that anywhere else. And I wanted to not stop while I was ahead, but stop while it still had a good like taste in my mouth almost. So decided not to play, went to school. I didn't want to go to Bowling Green at first, actually. I wanted to get far out of Ohio.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
You wanted to go super far. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, more so just, I've always looked up to my brother in my life, and he went to Michigan for school. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to do the same thing and like go out of Ohio, because, growing up in Ohio, it's like, Ohio's so boring, cornfields, this, that, and the third. And so, I said I was going to do the same. Probably go to Florida. Me and my best friend Reagan, we applied to a few schools in Florida, Stetson, North Florida. And then COVID happened, and I was just young and innocent and naive, and I didn't understand how the world worked, how like money worked. Like, I knew we weren't rich, but I still didn't fathom it. And so
Right.
my parents sat me down and they were like, we can't afford to send you there.
Right.
We also don't want to send you there right now because the world is literally shutting down. Why don't you apply to some schools here in Ohio? And you would think I'd be like, oh, okay. But in my head, I was like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm still going to go out.
Because that's your favorite line. You
know
know, can't nobody, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, can't nobody tell Kyla Smith what to do. Like, back then, she was so controlling. Like,
and I didn't realize
man.
it, though. That's the scary thing. I really didn't realize it because now that I've grown, I don't like seeing that aspect in other people. But like I said, I thought they didn't know what they were talking about, but they did. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll apply to some schools. My parents went to OU for some time, so I applied there. I didn't want to do Ohio State because it's too big. Like, that's too overwhelming for me. I think I did Cincinnati. And I had heard about BG, but really not much about it. And I was like, I guess I'll apply there. Got in, and I was like, whatever. I think I decided in like maybe May of 2020 to go like that fall. So got like the bottom pick for like classes and class times. Got a dorm, and it was still all super unknown, but went there, hated the first year, like whatever, you know, it was COVID, super isolated, but I had my best friend, so like that was really a good thing. Got super strong on my faith, then like the Lord did a big work in my heart, in my mind, that year that I was just kind of isolated and away from everything that I knew and like was familiar with. And then fast forward to my senior year, one of my good friends, she was on the basketball team. I was actually in her wedding last summer. And they just got a new coach, and they were dealing with a lot of injuries. And she was saying like, "Oh, you should like." She would always joke and say like, "You should come play for the team." And I was like, "Yeah, no, nah." Like, I played occasionally at the gym, and like I played for club. And she's like, "No, I think you should." And then like they were actually getting a lot of injuries, and word got around, and the coach had reached out to like our club coach and was like, "If you have any people who are interested, like, please send them our way." And so in my head, I was like, you know what? Why not? You know, like I played before. It's been 4 years, but like, and I was like, if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. And I was raised of like, always ask because like, don't say no for the person. Like if the worst they can say is no, and be okay with that.
Right.
And so it was like, if I don't make it, I've got nothing to lose. But if I do make it, like that's pretty cool. So I went out there, tried out, and I made it. And I was able to walk onto the team. I even got to score too. Played like maybe about halfway through the season. Got to travel with them. Eat meals with them, all the stuff. Like I was just a college athlete for about half a year, and that was super cool and eye-opening too for like just the mental health aspect of what athletes go through. And for me, it made me see like why I didn't need to play basketball coming out of high school too.
Okay. So it's two questions. The first question I want to ask you is, you said you lost a close friend. How did that affect you in high school, and what steps did you take to overcome that process? Yeah,
it honestly, like, it really rocked my world because, and I've written so many papers on this and I've had so many conversations about this, and honestly, I think that moment in my life and losing Jay Sean, like, really just, it split my life in two, bro. It was like before Jay Sean died and then like after.
Right.
And so much growth happened. Because to me, it was like, young people don't die. You know, I had been to a number of funerals, but it was older people who were like sick or, you know, just like they've lived their life. And because he's like a month and a half older than me, you know, and so it was like, what do you mean you died, you know? And I just saw him on Friday in class. He scored like a touchdown to win that game, and then like Monday, you're not here.
Right.
So it really did rock my world, and I was just like, you know what? Through that, it's really, I was mad at God, but then I was quickly humbled and realized like just how much mercy he has on us. Like we don't deserve, you know, life, you know what I mean? And so I just realized like every day truly is a gift, and nowhere in the Bible does God promise all of us a long life.
Right.
And so I think I learned quickly like through our pain is when he reaches us the most. But I definitely did not realize that like right away. I was still like, I think us all playing basketball together, we just kind of like stuck to like rallied together, and we just locked in on the season. And so I really didn't process it until I think I went away to school and was like, oh, okay, like this is really happening. But so just locked in together on basketball, and it was like I really didn't think about it. Like I feel like I kind of cried and dealt with it when he first passed in the funeral, and then it was like, okay, funeral happened, but we got school Monday, and like we got conditioning, and we're trying to win a state championship. So I kind of compartmentalized it, and then just pushed through that way. What was the second question? I forgot.
So I didn't. No, you're
oh no,
good.
that was
You're
first.
good.
That
No,
was
that
first. Okay,
was
yeah.
that
okay,
was,
so how I overcame it,
good.
yeah. So him passing away was really just my turning point of like I need to lock back in with God, because I was raised in the church. I knew the gospel. I'd given my life to Jesus when I was young, like said the prayer, whatever. but I quickly realized like I'm not living life how he has called us to do it.
Right.
And if I don't lock in, like if I die right now, I know where I'm going, and it's not
Right.
to heaven to be with him. And so that was what brought me back to him. And just like, you know, there's a verse, it's Psalm 34:18. It says, God is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And so it's like, if we never are broken or crushed, he can't ever really save us for real. And it was in those moments, like just crying out, like where I met him. And he gave me a lot of revelation and a lot of insight, but he just comforted me, you know. And it's still hard, like it still breaks my heart thinking about him. I think about him literally every day.
Right.
But now I'm in a better place of dealing with it and just being aware about it than I was when I was 16 when
Right.
it happened too.
Right.
So yeah.
So I feel like that was good, and I feel like you broke that down to the T, and I think it was a lot of meat in there. So for me, like, you know why I brought you on. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I appreciate you. Like, I thought that in high school when you played, I thought you were a great athlete. I thought you were very coachable. You was an outstanding leader. But most of all, and the most important thing, like, you was a light, right? I feel like you was a light, a shining light that a lot of people gravitated to, even myself. Because I'm like, man, there's something about this kid, man.
And I never
that
realized
is
it.
special,
Yeah.
though. Like, you know what I mean? And remember, every time something would go wrong, like, I'm talking to, you know, the Morgans, the Ians, and the Naomis and all that, but I'm really pulling you aside and we having like real conversations, like, because I knew it was something special about you, like outside of basketball, you feel me? So, like you said, you got saved at a young age, right? So how did like your faith begin to influence your journey as an athlete?
Yeah. Mind you, pause.
Okay.
You said I was a light. I didn't realize it at the time, but remember I did realize that something was different about me because I told you and Coach Banks that y'all don't think as deep as
Yes.
I do.
That's what that was. When I was saying you was controlling, I was trying to think of like, dang, what did she say to us? But no, that was...
But I was, humbly speaking, I was right because I knew, like I said, a psych major, like just the way the world works and the way people's brains works have always been super interesting to me, even in high school. But I didn't want to be a psych major back then because I was like, I don't want to deal with people's problems because I don't want all that weight on me.
Right.
But I didn't realize like I can dump that weight on God and he can help me do this. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew I had a very analytical brain and I knew I could like see people and see their pain, but I just couldn't verbalize it.
Right.
And so that day I was trying to explain something to y'all and I don't even remember what it was.
I don't know what the conversation was about.
I think it was surrounding basketball or whatever, and y'all were looking at me like I was crazy. That's what it felt like. And I was like, you know what? Y'all just don't think as deep as me. Like, you just don't get it.
Right, but here's the thing.
And
like,
y'all both were like, what? This
Yes.
16-year-old girl just said we don't think as deep as her. So.
But that just showed right there, like, your intellect, it was on another level. In that moment, we could have been thinking carnal, but in that moment, you could have been thinking spiritually.
And I didn't even know.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like in that moment, and now we laughing and we joking about it, like God was showing you something different. You know what I mean? So I think that's amazing that we can look back on that.
I laugh at it
and still
all
laugh
the time, honestly.
and laugh and joke about that. So how did your faith influence your athletic journey?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like they were very separate because, like I said, got saved when I was 8 or 7 in 3rd grade, but I've always had faith. Like, I have friends who I know have come to faith now. Because it takes the non-believer an average of like 7 times to hear the gospel before it actually does something in them, like triggers a response. And so that's interesting because you just think like how much God is just always like knocking at our door and telling us the same thing. And so, but that was never the case for me. Like, I heard it when I was young, definitely a rule follower, and they said like, if you believe in him, you'll have everlasting life. And there was never any doubt in my head. I was like, okay, I want life. I'm going to do this. And so I followed it, and I thought, I fell into that trap of being a moralistic Christian and thinking, like, if I'm just a good person, if I open doors for people, if I, like, give them stuff and do all these, like, checklist things, then I'll be fine. And I thought I was cool, but I missed the whole picture of, like, I sin every day. Like, you know, like going to church isn't enough. Like, I wasn't reading my Bible. Again, I was a kid, but like growing up. And then again, just doing all the things of the world in high school, like wanting to be cool, going to parties, like having boyfriends, doing all this stuff. But I was like, I just thought, honestly, a lot of pride too. Like, I'm better than like everyone else because like I'm not as bad as them.
Okay.
You know, which is still a horrible mindset to have. But that's how I thought at the time. And I was like, but I'm a good friend. Like I'm the friend who's like Morgan's parents. If she wanted to go to a party, is Kyla going?
I agree.
If Kyla's not going, no, you're not going. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
That's how it was. And I was like that. And you know what that does to a 15, 16-year-old, like it puts you on a pedestal in some way. But I always was still humble, but still prideful at the same time. So, and then basketball, honestly, it was an idol in my life but there's breeding ground for it because from a young age, they're said like, you're being told, oh, you're going to go to the league. Oh, you're going to do this, which I think are great dreams to have.
Right.
But like understanding everyone's not going to get there.
Right.
Someone has to be a teacher. Someone has to be a doctor. Everyone can't be like Michael Jordan, LeBron James. And that's fine if you are, but it's also perfectly fine if you're not too.
Right.
And so it's like, well, let's like Sunday to Sunday, you're like Sunday you have tournaments, Monday you're at school, after you get out of class, you're going to go train, you're going to go do your homework, and it's just that constant cycle for 10 plus years. And you go to AU and you go out of town, and you go to your trainer. And for me, it was like, where was I going to fit in? Like, God, right? And even when I did have those breaks, I was not trying to wake up and go to church. I wanted to sleep in, be on my phone, or hang out with my friends because I really didn't see them. And so basketball was all I did. It was who I was. And to the point of like in class and stuff, or just like, tell us a fun fact about yourself. It was always, hi, my name is Kyla and I play basketball. Like you guys, and it was also like, you guys already know this. People know who I am, that certain kind of notoriety and popularity that comes with that. And so when it got taken away from me, I vividly remember thinking my like first couple like months on campus, my freshman year, I was like, how am I going to make friends? Like I don't play basketball anymore because all my teammates were my friends. I didn't have many. I mean, I had friends outside of basketball, but the people that I hung out with and did life with, Morgan, Eva, like Reagan, Kennedy, Constance, all of them, it was just teammates. And that's when I realized like, oh, I think basketball took up more of my life than I was even aware of at the time. Right. And so it was just like, okay, now who am I outside of basketball? And again, even in college, being that fun fact of like, okay, my name is Kyla, I don't play basketball, what can I say? Oh, I like to read, I like to work out, like finding these new hobbies. And so really just having to refine myself, or really find myself for the first time and who that was in God. And so, like I said, freshman year was COVID. I really knew I had to lock in with the Lord that summer, so I was like trying to read my Bible, but I started in Genesis and I was confused, you know, because it's like, in the beginning, I'm reading all these names and I'm like, I don't get it, but I know the Bible stories, but like, where are they? So I get involved with the church there, which was super like helpful for my foundation of like the theological understanding of the Bible. And just knowing like, just because I grew up hearing something doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Right. Or just because I grew up doing something doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. Right. And so a lot of discernment and wisdom I feel like I received from the Lord at that point in time. And just learning the importance of like community, which I used to like, which is very hard because in the United States, we're a very individualistic society. Like in other countries, like Eastern countries, like if you're not married, you're still living with your parents, or it's very common to have multiple generations in a household. Where here, it's like you turn 18 and you're kicked out the house. You gotta go. And figure it out. Yeah. And so it's very foreign for us, and we have that kind of like pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, which is impossible. Like you literally can't pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But I get the phrase, and it's just like figure it out. And so for me, reading the Bible and having those people support me who didn't know me from a can of paint, like they just met me 2 days ago, but they're wanting to like pour into my life and support me, changed my view of God and showed me just how much God is a relational God. And so that was awesome. I just got to like, I feel like my heart grew in that way because I've always loved like being close with people, but I feel like it wasn't nurtured here back home. It was really nurtured up at BG. And so I was like, oh, I just fell in love with God. I got to know like so many different characters of him. And I just was just eager to learn. I've always enjoyed school and like been good at learning. And it wasn't, honestly, it was from a prideful stance because I wanted to be the person of like, if you have a question about the Bible, I'm going to know it. Right. You know, which again, the Lord worked on that. But it was also like, I'm just getting to know God because I need to understand him better for myself. Right. Not just because my mom told me or my dad says like, this is what you do, or even like the Sunday school teachers at church. So like I said, those two paths kind of grew apart for me, but then it came full circle when I played again my senior year of college. My one friend that I mentioned that was on the basketball team, she was also a believer, and I ended up like leading Bible study my sophomore year, like discipling people, which is something I never thought I'd be doing. You know, I'm like, I don't have a theology degree. I'm literally 19. Like, why am I leading this Bible study? And I learned too, like, God does not care about like labels. He doesn't care about degrees. Like,
Nope.
he just wants a
Nope.
willing heart, and
Nope.
like his Holy Spirit is enough. It's better
Yep.
than any degree or plaque we can get. And so for her, she also said like she was the only believer on her team, so it was nice to just join her in that, I guess, battle, you would say, because it is a battle, like trying to get people to come to know Jesus. And I realized like how many people fell into that same trap that, or currently are falling into the same trap that I fell into of like, basketball is my whole life. I have to do this, and if I don't have a good game, like my mood is terrible.
Right.
And so I see why he pulled me away from, pulled me away from basketball, because it was just taking up too much time. But I never even thought that, like, what if I don't get it back? It wasn't a thought in my mind. It was just like, this is what I need to do in order to get closer to God, and I'm fine with it. And so when I got it back, it was like, dang, I wasn't even asking for this, and God still blessed me, because I do love basketball. Like, I love the game. I've always loved it. And so it was nice, like, playing that sport without having that pressure of like, okay, I didn't drop 20 points, or like I missed all my threes. But at the end of the day, it was like, man, I'm God's daughter. I don't really care, you know?
Right. So, and I feel like too, like I think that, do you have a child who struggles or needs some extra academic support? If so, click the Q&R code. Read Efficient, empowering academic excellence in reading and math, one session at a time. Too, like I think that you said something key. I think you said that once basketball was over and you went to college, like you was lost for a minute.
Yeah.
So I feel like in that moment, like God showed you that it's more to Kyla Smith than just basketball. There's other aspects that in your life that he needs you to tap into, so he can use that for you to serve other people. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that is a big part of your purpose. And I think one thing that you said was, you said basketball became an idol. You know what I mean? I think that not just basketball, there are a lot of things in our lives that sometimes become an idol. But since we're focused on basketball, like I think sometimes we got to really, really remind ourselves that basketball is not our God, it's our gift. You know what I mean? So yes, God bless us with a skill set. In the moment that skill set becomes in front of God, then that's when it becomes an idol. And nobody's saying like, hey man, you got to quit basketball. It's like, no, you just got to reorder those steps. It's like order operations. Like, you know what I mean? Like addition don't come before multiplication. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's about reordering that, refocusing. I think that that's what God did for you. Yeah. And then when you went back, he said, like, I know you love it, so look, I'm gonna give you one last hurrah. Like,
yeah,
you know what
literally,
I mean?
that's what it was.
Because you wanted to play for a Division I school. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
like,
man, and that's how I knew it was an idol, because, you know, social media age, Instagram, we used to like literally like sit up and fantasize and dream, because you had like in your Instagram bio, it'd be like Kyla Smith, Gehanna class of 2020, and then it'd be like BGSU Women's Basketball class of 20. Like, we would literally sit and get excited about stuff like that. And so I remember I would sit up and be like, ooh, which school's gonna be in my bio of like class 2024 and being on the women's basketball team. And so when it didn't happen, it was like, dang, I was worried about the wrong things. So like I said, it had always been a desire, but I took that desire and I put it way above God. And so I had to let it go. But
again, like, it's, and I'm gonna keep saying this, God is faithful, right?
Even
and we know that.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And you was able to give him something where I felt like, which was your heart, and basketball was a part of your heart. You was able to give him that, and in the end, he was able to give it back because you was ready to, you know what I mean, use that gift. Because again, let's go back. I told you in high school, it was something different about you. You were a light. And then when he gave that basketball piece back to you, you was able to go to BG, play at BG, and still be a disciple. You know what I mean? And you connected with one of your friends, and she said like, hey man, I just been the only Christian on my team for a long time. And it was years, like, now y'all was able to read, study the word together, discipleship. On top of, you had your homegirl Reagan down there who was helping you out too. So I think that is good. So look, I'm gonna throw out 2 words, right? Okay. And I want you to tell me like what comes to your mind when you hear these 2 words, okay? And then I'm gonna give you my point of view, and then it's gonna be followed by a question, okay? So we got image versus identity. What comes to mind? I'm gonna say it again. Image versus identity.
I could really be chatting for real. So when I think of image, the first thing that comes to my mind is like public image.
Okay.
Right?
That's good.
So, yeah. Who are you like when the lights are on and the camera's right here and everybody's watching you? But then I think of identity and I think of your character.
Okay.
And I remember those posters in elementary school that, your teachers decorate the
Yes.
classrooms. And I don't know if this was one that was consistently like in my classrooms throughout the course of the years, but I vividly remember reading like character is who you are when no one is watching.
Yes.
And so that's the first thing that comes to my head.
Right.
It's like, okay, my public image is like, okay, are they walking by? Here's my Christian necklace. Here's
Yes.
my Bible. Here's John 3:16.
Right.
And it's like, oh, they left. All right, let me shut the Bible. Let me open
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? But character is like, what are you doing when no one's watching? But it's
Okay.
key because it's like God is always watching.
Yes.
Even when you're trying to impress the public image versus when you're in private.
Yes. So no, that's good. No, I promise you.
Okay.
Public image, right?
Yeah.
You said public image, which as far as the where we're talking about image, and then you said identity, you said character, right? So we're talking about sports and faith, right? So image, basketball, like society tell Kyla Smith or any other athlete out there, you got to be scholarship driven.
Yeah.
You got to be a starter. You have to be a competitor. You got to be popular, right? And you got to be a local celebrity within your community.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is the image that they put on young athletes. And I feel like what happens is it begins to
Mess your head up.
mess your head up a little bit. But identity, when I think about that word identity, you said character. So when I think about character as children of God, like we supposed to have a godly character. So when I think about identity, you are a child of God.
Facts.
Not just you, but
right.
all of us.
Yeah.
Like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all of us are a child of God. Identity. You've been chosen. So you know what I mean? Like you have been chosen. Go ahead, I'm gonna let you add on.
Many are called, but
Yes.
you are chosen.
Like you know what I mean? Like you've been chosen. Like
so think about like God calling,
yes.
calling, but he was like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm calling, but you already plugged
Yes.
set aside.
Like you got a purpose.
Yeah.
That's why he chose you. You know what I mean? Like you empowered. So the same power and authority that God gave his son, he gave that same power and authority to you. Like you loved, you forgiven. So what happens is I feel like we begin to operate in that image instead of that identity, and it hurts us, right?
Facts.
So my question to you is, how do you stay faithful in the world of sports where pride, ego, and self-glory is rewarded?
I think it's no different than like, how do I operate in this world where everything that the world says is right, God says is wrong.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We have treasures up in heaven. Like, don't, where your treasure will be, that your heart is there also, right?
Right.
So it's like, okay, let me do this heart check. What do I want, right? Do I want the cameras, the lights, the fame, the glory, but what is that going to get me in the end?
Yes.
Instant gratification. Okay, I get a blue verified check on Instagram. I get NIL deals. I get to meet so-and-so from the WNBA, all these things, but it's like, at the end of the day, when I go home, character, and the lights cut off, and the tour bus drops me back home,
right.
I walk in my house, like, am I lonely? Is it just me with all these, like, medals and stuff? But, like, who do I have to, like, I don't have any family. I don't have anyone who really cares about me, you know what I mean? And then it just attracts the wrong people. I just attract people who want me for my image, but like who don't even know my character.
Yes.
And so I think it's just understanding like I heard this, I'll be on TikTok, but I heard this thing on TikTok that said like the strife you feel is like because both the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light know how much you have like in you, right? And so it's like you are the battleground. Like we always talk about like spiritual warfare, which I'm not saying it's not true because it is, but it's like, and when I heard that video, it made me rethink because I was thinking of spiritual warfare as kind of like this thing that's apart from me almost, and almost something that I either step into based on like my sin or like disobedience or something that comes to me and it's like, oh, I'm being attacked, spiritual warfare, but like, nah, every day I am, like, not I am because it's not my identity, but it's like, this is where it's happening because every day I wake up and it's like, okay, am I going to glorify God today or am I going to like just honor what Satan says to do? And so just focusing and realizing like it's gonna be hard, but because I'm an athlete, like I've told you many times before, like when I'm discipling people or pouring into them, like I constantly am using basketball or just athletic references or like comparisons, because that discipline that I got from basketball and just like a lot of my character, I do think came from like being an athlete.
Yes.
Pushing through when you're tired. You not giving me a water break. When I looked at you and after you told me you would give me one.
Nah.
You're not gonna be lying.
But we gonna get to that in a second. Nah.
We are. But still, it's like, but it's that point of like when you think you can't go, you can. You know what I'm saying? But it's also the point of like when you think you hit your wit's end and you think you're about to fall off the cliff, like God's gonna be there to catch you and redirect you. And it's not easy, because some days you sit and you're like, bro, literally what? Like what is going on? But it's knowing like the Bible says for who hopes in what they see, right? Like if you see something, it's not hope. I'm not hoping to have a drink of water and my water bottle's right here. I might be hoping for a marriage because I don't have that yet, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you're not hoping what you already have. And so that's why it's so sweet to look forward to like being in heaven with Jesus, is because this world is so awful and so trash. And there's glimpses where it can be beautiful, but it's like we can't understand the beauty of getting to heaven if we're not literally like suffering here down on earth. And so knowing that, you got to welcome it with a smile. And my prayer lately has been to God, like just to help me suffer well, you know, because I wake up and something happens, and like I'm in a transition period right now, trying to go to grad school, working, just a lot of like adult stuff. It's like, I don't want to go back to be a kid because I love every stage of my life, I'm very content. But sometimes I look up and it's like, dang, it's always something. But it's like, if I can always find the bad, then I need to have that same attitude and find the good. And of course, it's always going to be something, because that's what this life is for. It's like those somethings is how you get to know God and the heart of God and to get to know Him better. So, yeah.
So look, it's crazy because you said when the lights go out, like, can you still live up to your character, right? And when I thought about character, I thought about purpose. And this is something practical, I promise you. In this room right here is 3 lights. Right here, 1, 2, 3. We got 3 lights, right? So out of the 3 lights, it's funny when she said when the lights go out, that light right there went out.
I'm weak.
You feel me? Listen though, this middle light right here went out. It's 3 of them. Again, 1, 2, 3. When she said light, the middle light went out. But here's the thing. Even though the middle light went out, our purpose didn't change. You see what I'm saying? So when the lights do go out, it get dim in your life, like your purpose does not change. You still have to be willing to tap into that inner power that God blessed you with to go out there and still fight the battle and still live your purpose. Still go out there and serve and love people and do the right things. I feel like we are still called to do that. So that was like an aha moment for me, because when you got to talking about
like,
the lights,
when the lights went off, we didn't like look at the camera and be like, oh, what do we do? Because that's not our character. You know what I mean? Like, but if we were different people who weren't filled with the Holy Spirit, who weren't serving God, like it's almost like people don't know how to act when those lights go out.
You get distracted
real quick.
You get distracted. Like, hold on. So now the dim light caught your attention instead of focusing on the light. Or the light, or, you know. Because
light don't need light. We are the light.
Yes. That's good. That's the bar right there.
It was. Did you see? Hey, it was God. Fire. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
that was
literally
fire.
Think about it. Like, light doesn't need light. Light also doesn't ask for people to look at it. You know what I mean? It's just, you set a light on something and people just flock to it.
You flop to it. Yeah. So, like, again, like, I think that that was a very, very good point. So, let's go back to high school, right? And I'm gonna go back to your junior year, right? Junior year.
2019.
2019. We played in the district finals. And again, we had a conversation about this. I said I should have played you more.
And I said, you know.
Yeah, but you did.
I did.
You know, that's the yeah, you know, like, you know what I mean? But sometimes, man, we don't really. And maybe you really did feel that way. I don't know. But you got in, we ran Kansas, you hit a 3, came back down, we ran Kansas again, you faked the screen, they went over it, you came back the other way, you hit another 3. and I was caught up in the moment, and then I took you out and I put somebody in. That was the worst mistake I ever did. Like seriously, for real, I should have kept you in. We had a conversation. So coming to that season, like I saw you putting in a whole bunch of work, like because in your mind, I felt like Kyla was saying, I'm going into my senior year and I'm trying to start.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because again, that's what they're, and my older brother, like I said, like, love him to death, love him down. I always looked up to him because there's just two of us. Like, I didn't have a sister, so like, even my personality, and I guess people want to call me a tomboy when I was younger or whatever, it was just like, I want to be like my brother, right?
Right.
Basketball, he was a shooter. I mean, he was left-handed, but like I wanted to do everything like him. And so I saw him go kind of through the same thing. He played football, but or he was flipped. He didn't play football coming in high school because he wanted to do basketball.
Right.
But his senior year, he decided to play, or junior year, because he decided to play because him and Genesis were
Right.
together and was like, come on, let's play one last hurrah. So he did it. And I saw him like kind of go through the same thing, but like senior year, because he had a bigger class. I think there was like 7 of them instead of like 4 of us. Saw him be like a captain and like starting, and I was just thinking like, to me, in my head it was like we are the same. We are
right.
one. And we even kind of talk like this today, like I'm him, he's me, whatever. And so in my head I was like, if he's doing that, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? And so when I was playing 8th grade, I was the captain, I was starting, and then that transition happens when you come to high school. But yeah, that was in my head like, yeah, I'm about to start.
So you following in your brother's footsteps, right? So your brother came in as a senior. Was he starting?
Yeah, starting senior. Yeah.
From the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah.
So from the beginning of the season, off jump, your brother came in, he was starting. So Kyla, like, you know what? I'm about to follow the path and the footsteps that my brother has set. Yeah. I am walking in that path, and I'm going to achieve it. But the season started,
and I didn't.
You ain't start.
And I was like, this is not the play.
Listen.
This is not the script.
So listen. You just pictured something. It took you back to that moment. So look, like you wanted to start, but you ran into a challenge, right? Like where you felt like you should have been starting. Like, let's be real. Like we all felt like we should be starting, like because you felt like you put in the work, but it didn't happen. So during that time, like, how did you remain humble and confident within yourself? And what was that conversation like with God?
Well, first, I mean, I believe that there's very few people who like audibly hear the voice of God. Mm-hmm. Number one, we know he speaks through his word. So you can't complain about not knowing what God says if you're not reading your Bible.
Right.
But he also speaks through people, which can be a hard concept to understand, but I really don't think it's that hard. But I've been blessed to understand. So that conversation really started with my dad.
Right.
You know my dad. Very to himself, reserved, not a pushover, but he doesn't talk a lot. And so I'm taking it back a couple years. I like made JV my freshman year. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of cooking. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't expecting it. I knew I wasn't making like varsity with Eden and Morgan, and I really didn't think of JV. I was just like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna play basketball. Made JV, and then even sophomore year it was kind of like that summer ball. Freshman year JV. Like a couple weeks into the season, I got pulled up to like practice with varsity, and I was like, "Whoa, this is like, this is kind of too much too soon," because I wasn't expecting that for myself. Because again, I didn't see myself that way. I was just like, I'm not as good as them, but like I'm not, the worst ever. Kind of middle of the pack mindset. Sophomore year, on JV again, but I was like, maybe I'll be like varsity, because like I just feel like you shouldn't be on JV for 2 years, because that's just in my head, and that's what I was told by people around me. Again, I'm 15, 14.
Right.
And then the class coming underneath us, and I was looking at them, and I was like, yeah, I used to play with them in middle school. Like, really no one's like really like hanging with me for real. But then that year comes around, and I'm on JV again, and I'm looking at the people who are on varsity who are younger than me, and I was just thinking like, okay, how can I be humble here? But also at the same point in time, like I don't think they should be where they're at, and I should be where I'm at. I think it should be switched. And again, I got Eden and Morgan in my ear saying, if such and such is on varsity, then you better be on varsity. And so I'm like, you're right. I vividly remember being at Cracker Barrel with my parents. We were talking about basketball, talking about summer league. And I said, well, if such and such is on varsity, then I better be on varsity too. And without even like looking up from his plate, my dad was like, and you better be working your butt off too if you talk about what you better have and better not have, or something along those lines. And I was like, oh, wait, you know what? He didn't yell. He didn't cuss at me. He didn't talk to me crazy. It was just like, if you want to act entitled, then like basically don't act entitled. Like you better work for everything that you have. And in that moment, I was like, oh, you know what? He's right. Because he is a man of few words. When he speaks up, people listen.
Yes.
And I get a lot of things from both my parents, but I think I get some of my leadership skills from my dad in that sense too, of like when he speaks up, like, oh, okay, people, when Kevin says something, like people are gonna listen. And so when he said that, I was mad at first because I'm like, why are you not siding with me? You're my dad,
right?
You know, but also like, you know what, you are my dad. I'm thankful that you're not. Because I've seen too many instances where parents do that. So I remember that, and that kind of like played back when I'm here like junior year. I remember that conversation, and really, well, that moment with him, it just kind of drove my like work ethic because my dad is also a super hard worker.
Right.
And so I remember thinking like, you know what, he's right. Like I'm going to give them no reason to like not pick me or to choose me, right? I'm just going to like, I might not be the fastest and be like finished every time, but I'm also not going to quit. You know what I mean? And so that's why I used to like pace myself when it came to the sprint. But then you said stop doing that, and that didn't make no sense in my head. So I thought back to that conversation, and honestly, I wasn't directly talking to God, but like I believe that every time we cry out, like God does hear what we have to say. And so I remember thinking like, all right, this feels like, I didn't want to say unfair because I'm not entitled to anything, but this didn't feel right because it wasn't what I had pictured in my head.
Right.
And I said, you know what, that's fine. I'm just going to make sure that like no one's going to be stronger than me on the team. You might be faster than me, but you're not going to, like I said, I'm not going to quit. Like I'm never going to back down. And I just like instilled that in myself, like literally every day, just thinking like I'm gonna show up and you're gonna have to like knock me out pretty much, like if you want to lose to me, you know what I mean? And like I get it, I'm not a point guard, I wasn't the ball handler, but like if you gave me a job, I was gonna do that and be the best at it. I was gonna defend.
Right.
I was going to defend, like, even Morgan, even though I didn't want to defend her, you know what I'm saying, because that's my girl, but, like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get a stop, and I'm going to let her get mad at me because that's okay, that's part of the game, you know, but I wasn't thinking that way.
You can shoot, come on.
Come on, man,
rebound, like, you know what I mean, like, don't leave stuff out, you know what I mean, listen, I know you going to be humble, I'm going to hype it up, I'm going to throw it out there a little bit.
Yeah, I can shoot, and so in my head, it was like, when we split up in those, like, 3-man groups, you know, our little burner bro group, it was like, and it was that fine line, because it felt difficult to navigate because it's like, yes, these are our sisters because you instilled that in us, like, but you're also competing every day. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that fine line of like, yeah, we're kiki ha ha ha, but like when that gun come out, I'm not missing in these threes because in my head, and they might have not been thinking this way, but like when I miss a 3 and you make a 3, oh, you're beating me. You know what I mean? And so it was like, let me lock in. Let me call Coach Bailey like, hey, I'm trying to get in the gym. I'm trying to do this, and I'm gonna do it every single time. So that's really what it was for me, and just showing up in the weight room too, understanding like you got to put in a lot of work before the lights come on. Right. And so I was literally just willing to do whatever it takes because again, basketball wasn't idle, but also I was just like, I refuse to lose in that sense. And I know that way. I know like if I don't start, then it's strictly a political thing. It's not a thing of because I didn't work hard, because I know I'm working my butt off.
Yeah,
he really had a positive message. Like he really showed me, I don't know if you guys could tell, but like I have a disability, and when he was speaking about his disability,
I'm a 12th grade student reading on the 6th grade level. And you want me to go to college?
If I can get to a place where he is, where he's speaking to people, where he's changing people's lives, then I'm gonna be okay. Like,
the girl in my past with the stain on my face called pain. Look and listen. I want you to feel my scar. Like the Lion King, I was crazy and sing like Scar. Some nights I would...
So I want to say this. I think that, number one, I think that your parents did a great job of dad checking you at the table. And I think that sometimes, you know, just like our father, natural father check us, our spiritual father does the same thing. Yeah. Like, okay, you're not entitled. Like whatever you want, you have to work for. And let's be honest, Morgan and Eaton was being Morgan and Eaton. They were being young high school athletes who like, hey man, you should be out here. And they said the right thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how they felt. So I can't knock them for how they felt. Like, but the thing was, your parents told you the right thing. You prayed about it, you talked to God, he put the right thing on your heart, and you went out there and you practiced and you played hard every single play. And I promise you, like, I knew the transition was going to come because you can see it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because let's be honest, sometimes people get comfortable. So when you get comfortable in the position, your preparation stop.
Yeah.
So once your preparation stop, like me and you, we competing. I'm comfortable. My preparation stop.
Somebody
But
else
you
is
continue.
starting. But somebody else isn't starting,
Like,
though,
so
yeah.
you like, hold on.
Excuse me.
I ain't about to chill.
Right.
I don't want to say I want what he got, but at the same time, we fighting and we competing for the same position. So I'm about to continue to work. And what happens is you got to surpass individuals because your work ethic, your mindset, your patience, your peace, your love, all that stuff was a factor to you earning that starting position. Like you can see it. And I just want to say like, man, like a lot of people don't understand why Kyla Smith was able to get that spot. Your first game starting was Laurel. I think it was Laurel, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was Laurel.
Yeah.
I think it was it Laurel?
I thought it was, no, it wasn't, because first consistently, I would say, because again, at the beginning of the season, y'all were still trying to figure out what worked and what didn't work.
Yes.
So like some games I do remember, I think I started with Mount Notre Dame, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But there were a few games where it was like, because of lineups, you were like, you're going to start.
Yep, I was
You're
switching
not going to start. Because we were smaller,
Yeah.
you know. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. But I knew once I got in, I knew what my job was
But
regardless.
once you got it, you stayed with it. And again, like I just want to say, like that fight and that grit is the same thing I see when it comes to your spirituality. So again, I think that a lot of times that, you know, sports is a mirror to our actual character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On the not the football field, on the basketball court, you worked extremely hard. On the in your spirituality, you work extremely hard. So that leads into like my next question. As an athlete, we are trained to what? Be physically strong, be mentally tough. What hashtag BBD stand for?
Bleed but don't
Bleed
die.
but don't die.
Oh,
Like,
my
so
gosh. Oh man.
You go in the weight room
and we
with Emerson.
really took that. We was like,
Yes. Talking
about,
like we not dying out here.
Yeah.
Mentally, we have to
I remember
be
the first time you said
strong.
you bleeding, so, and I was
Yes.
like, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like I might be bleeding, but I can patch it up.
You
and
can
still
patch
keep
it up
going.
and you can still keep going, and that's the mental the mental toughness that we needed to go out there and perform. And then when y'all go in the weight room, you know Emerson pushing his truck, pushing weights, like he was going to push y'all to the max. So my question is, like, how did you incorporate your spiritual strength in your athletic journey, and why was it important for you to be consistent in that?
In both.
Like just consistent in building those spiritual muscles. Because again, we taught you like, hey, you got to be mental tough. You can't nobody break you. But on the flip side, spiritually, you know, you got to exercise. You got to be strong. Why was that important for you to consistently exercise those spiritual muscles?
For me, it was realizing like if I can give a dead lowercase g God, which was basketball, this much time, energy, and effort, and it only gives me something if I give it something first. I have no excuse for how much more can I give like the living, breathing, active God who gave his life for me before I was even, before my great, you know what I'm saying, was even alive. And so it's just that realization of like, that's how it was. And again, it all stems from being that athlete of like, there's no quitting. Like if you quit, it's slow. Like quitting was like dying almost. Like and it sounds silly to say, but like that's how it felt. Like if someone quit, you'd be like, bro, what? Like you just quit? Like, you know, and then that's when we start attacking them like, oh, you're weak, oh, you're this, and you wasn't about to call me none of that. You know what I mean? And I was always remember the quote or like people saying like, we're only as strong as like our weakest member. And so I remember being like, okay, I want to be the strongest, and I definitely don't want to be the weakest. And if we're failing as a team, again, a lot of pride, it's not because of me. Because I'm showing up and doing everything I can. And so it was like, if I can do all that for an orange ball put in a hoop for something that's not even guaranteed, or like I'm only going to get to play for X amount of years and not guaranteed to go to the league, it's like, why can't I give my all to God who literally already gave his all for me? So just that mindset of like, oh, this is hard. I remember you used to tell us like, oh, we'd be like, oh, because really it's hard. You'd be like, it's supposed to be hard, you know? And it's like me praying to God and being like, God, this is hard. And he was like, I never said it was going to be easy.
And I think that, Kyla, I think that that's the key. So I'm preaching to y'all, like, because again, for me, I'm preaching to y'all like, it's hard. It's hard. Bleed but don't die. You got to keep fighting. So my coach was able to give us that when we was in high school, and I was able to take that bleed but don't die and add it to every aspect of my life. So what I learned was, just like on the football field, I got to have this bleed but don't die mentality. In my spiritual walk, I got to have this same bleed but don't die mentality. I'm in the weight room. I'm lifting. So now when I'm spending my time in the morning reading devotionals or reading the Word of God, that's me spiritually.
Like
I'm working out. I'm working my mind. I'm getting my mind mentally prepared for whatever the day has for me. And it's like this. The moment you stop lifting, the bar get heavy.
I'm saying.
You feel me?
And that's what it was you told us too. Like, you're really just making it harder on yourself. Like, you also have no one to blame but you.
But you. So if you decide to stop lifting, like, you're going to see that you losing your strength. And it's the same thing with the Word of God spiritually.
Yeah, it is.
The moment you stop tapping into your Word, man, when life put its weight on you and you trying to lift it up, it's going to be tough. And I thought about, when I was thinking about that question, I thought about, man, the Word of God keeps us grounded.
It definitely does.
And it also keep us with our armor on. You can't go into the
armor.
You can't you cannot go on a basketball court without tennis shoes. You can't play in your socks.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
You can, but it's not gonna be.
It's not. You're gonna be sliding everywhere.
Sliding,
yes.
Roll an ankle.
Yes.
You're gonna pop out. But you were saying something I want to go back to real quick about the bleed but don't die. I think that time was so pivotal, and this is like looking back on my life, I just see how much suffering is just honestly necessary. And at that time, like losing Jay, talking about the bleed but don't die, it was like, you have no choice, you know what I mean? Because, and us being 16, 17, like losing our friend in such a like traumatic way, and just him being like snatched from us for real, it was like, hold on. We now have something like bigger, like something, like it's not about us anymore, you know what I mean? Because like for us, at least me, I feel like I took on that mindset of like, we had the hashtag like all for Jay, also too, like always long live him, but that hashtag at first was like all for Jay, because everything we do is because like he no longer gets to do it. And so it was like, my mindset shifted of like, oh, I gotta go to practice, to like, Jay don't get to wake up and go to practice. He don't get to complain about football. He don't get to complain about like seeing his friends. It was like, so it shifted for me of like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be in pain because like he doesn't even get to feel anything at all anymore. So I think that was another layer between it too that like I didn't even realize at the time, but now that I look back and I see it was like definitely, I'm trying to like live for him too. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And again, that watching y'all throughout that journey, it was crazy because even going into like the tournament, man, in the varsity group chat, it was, man, people talking about the Word. It was David versus Goliath and all this. So I felt like, man, the Word was starting to become not just a part of our life, but a part of our team life. Like, you know what I mean? Watching, like, right before we go out to battle, like, you leading the prayer. And what you don't know is, like, when you left, Juju picked up right where you left off.
That's my girl. Burner,
you see what I'm saying? So when Juju left, Clark picked up where she left off.
Again,
you know what I mean?
in that same group,
and it was just like somebody else. And now, like, you've been gone for what? 4 or 5 years now? 5 years?
Yeah.
Now we got Mackenzie Bangs.
And full circle, because Mackenzie was
little watching y'all.
At the end of the, whatchamacallit, handshake line.
Yes.
Hitting us, ball girl, sitting on the end of the bench. Like,
So now, again, that legacy.
She was there for those prayers, though, too.
Right. That legacy that you built, far as being that light, every year somebody have took over that light. So how God used you, like, man, the only thing you did was pay it forward to somebody else, and each year somebody else been taking on the prayer. Like, it was crazy because before the game, like, it was before, like, we like about to play in scrimmages. Juju like, hold on, we didn't pray.
Yeah.
I'm like, before scrimmage, Juju?
She said yes. We're still playing.
We're still praying. And then the same day, we about to play another game. We didn't pray. Like, Juju, it's the same day. That prayer that prayer covered the last prayer.
So we don't need Deo Grace. Right. Mercies are new each morning. Yeah.
And that was the mindset, and that came because of you. So before you close, I got 2 more questions, right?
Sounds good.
If you could tell the next generation one thing about being an athlete that loved the Lord, what would it be and be why? I mean, what would it be and why?
One thing.
Yep.
Be grateful for your gift and your athletic ability, but remember who it came from and remember what it's for.
Yes.
It's like a sandwich almost.
Yes.
You know, like the gift is just the middle, right? So if you make a sandwich, you just got bread and like turkey, but not another piece of bread. It's like, it's kind of whack for real.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you like make the sandwich, it's like, okay, I've got this gift, it's basketball, but then your purpose is like that last piece of bread that slaps on it. Like, being an athlete is great, it's amazing, but it's like, how am I using my gift to, one, know God better and to like reflect His glory and to also help other people? And so if I'm just a great basketball player or a great whatever, fill in the blank, artist, chef, author, teacher, principal, but I'm not using that to serve the same people that God also created in His image, then it's a waste. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like in the Bible when it talks about the parable of like the gifts. Like He gave one 5, He gave one 10, He gave one 1. And it's not because he's 10 times better than him, it's because He knows what we can handle, what we can and can't handle. And it's like the one, I forget how it played out, but one was like, man, I only got one, I'm gonna throw it away. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, go out there and double it, go and triple it, because people need to be reached, and He gave you that gift because He wants to meet you. He wants to reach people through your gift. So being great at basketball is awesome, but like, what are you doing with it? It's not the final stop. Right.
And it's crazy. So like, I'm very visual, right? So when you said like the gift, right? And you referenced a sandwich, right? And you said the gift is in the middle.
Yeah. Like, it is the meat. I really
it's
believe
right. It's the meat, but it's crazy. So I got, on commercials, man, like you see a Burger King commercial, they're gonna show you the Whopper, right? They're gonna show you the whole sandwich. And if it's just the meat alone, it just look plain.
It's like, oh, that's weird.
But once you add the bread, which is the covering, which is, I feel like when I think about covering, I think about God. And I feel like once you let God cover your gift go from looking plain to looking delicious. You feel me? Like, and I think that was a great analogy, because sometimes, man, we just out there with focusing on our gift and without a covering, and it's just a plain gift.
It's incomplete.
Yes.
Nobody wants any package that's like, this, I'm missing half my order.
If Talon, man, was to say, we eating hamburgers at night and she just bring me
just a patty.
A patty? I'm gonna be like, hold on, this is
no lettuce, no mayo, Like, where's the rest of it?
But that's how we operate.
And
though.
A lot of us.
Yes.
And I'm picturing like people who are athletes who are like, I made it to the league. Yes, I got this NIL deal. Yes, I got this D1 scholarship. All great things. But now what, though? And I think that's why, especially today, in today's society, we're having so many people who, when they graduate and they're not playing basketball anymore, they're like, wait, what do I do now? Because, yes, like we're held responsible, right? To whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
God's not giving you all that talent for you just to go get all the glory. So when you do all that and then you're done and you haven't done anything with it, it's like, wait, I feel empty because you didn't complete the process.
You did not complete the process. And again, like, I don't know who I'm talking to, like, that gift that God gave you is not for you. It's never for you.
Which is so crazy, like, because in this world we're like, happy birthday, here's this. You never get a gift and be like, oh, this is for somebody. Like, no. You know what I mean? And again, I think that circles back to what I said at the beginning of understanding, like, everything the world says is right, we know God says is wrong.
Yes.
So if the world is saying all these gifts are just for you and it stops with you, wrong.
Wrong.
God says, I give you this gift, but it's really not about you. It was never really about you. You know what I mean?
You have to take that gift. You got to take that gift that God gave you, and you got to use that gift to serve somebody else. That's what you got to do with that gift. And I think that is important. Like, and again, if not, you're going to continue to be average
Mid.
in your gift.
And it's a mindset thing too,
Yes.
because I know someone's going to listen to this, and that pride is going to strike a chord. They're going to be offended, and they're going to have a rebuttal of like, I don't want to be selfless with my gift. I want it to be all for me. And to that, I would just say like, you wouldn't be where you were at if someone else was selfish with their gift.
Thank you.
Prime example, because when I first met Coach Bailey, I was just like, oh, okay, this Morgan's trainer, like he worked at Mifflin, like, you know, whatever. Never in a million years, and me and my mom talk about it all the time, like the Lord knew that I needed Coach Bailey in my life for more than just basketball reasons.
Yeah.
But if you would have been like, nah, I'm just gonna keep playing football, I don't want to coach girls basketball, you know what I mean? Like all these
Right.
things of like, you have to keep being selfless, because you don't know who you're gonna influence, and like your purpose is much more connected to like other people than it is just you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, like I enjoyed coaching y'all group. I think y'all group.
Yes, we are the favorites.
Listen
Y'all
here.
already knew it. He's not
Listen
going to say it
here.
because he's PR trained, but I'm saying it.
Listen here. Hey, Mackenzie.
Hey.
We already had this conversation. You already heard what Mackenzie said. You, Eden, Morgan, Gabby, Bella. Mackenzie say, man, they ready for y'all. They ready for y'all. But to close it out, before I ask you this last question to close it out, I was saying that y'all helped me grow. Like y'all was there for me in a time where it was really rough, like where I lost my mom, and y'all don't know, like y'all felt like y'all needed me, but my family needed y'all. You see what I'm saying? Because y'all was able to help me get through those tough moments. You know what I mean? Along with my wife and my daughters, like God used y'all tremendously. So
Right, Carson,
I wanted, yes,
born.
Carson
Yeah,
came
yeah.
prematurely.
Yeah.
Like, so it was so many things that I was going through in my life at the time. So look, hey, y'all might want to go grab the Quiet Storm. Hey, y'all might want to go ahead and grab the Quiet Storm. Go to www.trillforever.com. Click on the Quiet Storm, and you can
And go
purchase
ahead
the
and buy
book.
that.
And hey, it's gonna bless your life. All right.
I'm in the book too.
Yes, you in the book. Hey, it's gonna bless your life. All right. Hey, I had to, promote that.
I was
real
looking
quick.
at him. I was looking at that right there. I was gonna see how.
Yeah, so we had to promote that. So real quick before we end, because we about to end after this last question.
Yeah.
If your younger self was sitting right in the seat that I am sitting in right now, what would you say to your younger self? Just about your spiritual journey.
I would be like, I know you're only worried about such and such. I'm not gonna say any
Right.
names. Basketball, TikTok, and trying to be a little vlogger or whatever. But there's so much more that you are made for that you don't even realize, and that you're gonna need. But like more importantly, other people are gonna need it. And it's gonna be rough, but like you're gonna grow and learn so much, and it's gonna be like super beautiful, super hard, but it's gonna be rewarding. Like that's the word I would say. It's very, very rewarding.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So listen, thank you for tuning in on TRILL TV. And remember,
Trill forever, real life.
Hey,
Trill forever.
Hey, TRILL forever, real life. And remember
Real
though,
life.
if it ain't TRILL TV, it ain't real TV.
Facts.
Peace.
Yeah.